some red right now. You're gonna see some serious red.
Kendra's amazing. I what? You're amazing. Oh, thank you.
So my name's Kendra Aris Van Kerkhove. I have an identity crisis, and nobody can pronounce any of my last names, so don't worry, Kendra works. I went to a training, and this is where this is coming from, with my husband's work. He owns a franchise, a printing franchise. And we went to a convention in San Antonio just a couple of months ago, and we read a book called Traction, and it was presented by the author, and I believe his name was Gene Wickman. I could be wrong, but the book doesn't really matter too much. I don't even recommend you read it because it's really dreadful. The information is good. It's just, we're in direct sales because we're into things like makeup and fun things like that. And it was a hard read, but when I went to the training and I got to go through this with his company, I learned what I was doing wrong in my business and was able to change it. And I can tell you, since implementing this kind of a system into my business, I have had record months, month after month after month. My team is having record months. I'm having record months. We are on fire because I've learned to define my focus. And I will promise you, if you can implement some of these things, and I don't care if you're not with LimeLight, if this is your regular, any kind of business you're in, this is applicable, and we're gonna go through it together. So what I found out that I was doing wrong, what I realized what I was doing wrong was I was listening to noise. And I guarantee you, you guys are all probably listening to noise. Something would chirp over here, and then I would go over there and deal with it. And then somebody would chirp over here, and I would go over there and deal with it. And at the end of the day, I was like, what the hell did I accomplish today? Nothing. I didn't accomplish anything. I shut up some chirpers, and I don't even know what happened in between. And I'm a red, I can't stand that. So, I recognized that I was not focusing, but I didn't know how to focus. And then I sat in this training and went through this, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So now I have learned to not only focus on what's important in my business, but I've learned how to focus on the people that are important in my business. I've learned how to focus on the things that they need, and the noise I could care less about. And it's helpful. So if you're listening to noise, and I'm sure you guys can relate, if you're not, if you can't, then maybe we should talk more, because I want to know how you do that, but I can I can help you with that. So the first square, it talks about defining your core values. These are values that you have in yourself, that you have in your company, and they're values, they're words. They're key words that go together that help define who you are and what you want to portray in your business. When you're with a direct selling company, you are your own boss, and you have to remember that. You have to come back to that all of the time. You're in charge of your own destiny. You're in charge of what is going to happen from here on out. Not your upline, not your downline, you are in charge of it. So what you want to think about is, at the same time with these keywords, you want to think about how it's tangible to LimeLight. So words like professionalism, integrity, words like, I mean, you guys call out some words if you think of some words, but words that make you feel like it's what you want other people to see in you and see in your brand. So, LimeLight is, what's that? Passion, that's a very good one. People that are passionate. And while you're thinking of those words, write them down on there. Think of things that go with your personalities. I only have really strong words on mine. But you don't have to have really strong words all the time. You can have softer yellow words if you want. I don't know why you would, but you can. Anyway, you don't have to fill this all out now. We're going to kind of go through it quickly, but as you're thinking about these things, and as you're developing your business and your focus, the way you want to go with your business, this is going to help you always stay at home, always know where you're at. And when you start listening to noise that has nothing to do with integrity, that is questioning your integrity, you're not with your core values. So you need to come back to that. when this author was explaining to this in this book on how to do this, he explained there's apparently these men that ride horses and shoot bows and arrows. I don't know why they do that either. It doesn't seem to have a point to me, but they always hit the target. This was the point. They always hit their target, the bullseye, every single time. And some other guy that wrote a book said, he said, how do you always hit the target to these men? And he says, because that's where I put all of my energy. I put all of my energy into that target. Not to the horse that's moving under him, not to the thoughts going through their head, not to the arrow quivering. All the energy goes into hitting the bullet and hitting the bullseye. So when your focus is on your core values and your focus is on, hey, you're red, your focus is on money. That's another one of my core values. I don't want debt. Anyway. I'm going to get off track. But anyway, when your focus is strictly on what you want it to be on, that's the direction your business is going to go. That's the direction your life's going to go. So if you're listening to the chirping, that's the direction your business is going to go. If you listen to the noise, that's the direction your business is going to go. Does that make sense? I'm telling you, when you change your mindset to this, your whole business will change, and it'll take probably 30 days. And you'll be like, wow, that chick was right. And then you're going to tell me about it, and I'm going to be like, I know. Okay. So, going on to the next one. The next thing is your story. This is really important in direct sales because you are your own boss, and people buy you before they buy your products. They need to trust you. They need to believe in you. They need to believe that if you believe in something, they're going to believe in it too. So when you're thinking about your story, think about your core values. Think about these keywords. But why did you join? Write some ideas down on why you joined. But more importantly, your story has a history. But what's more important than your history is who you're going to be in LimeLight. You can choose to stand tall and stand apart, or you can get lost in the crowd. It's up to you. How are you going to stand apart? How are you going to be different? What are you going to do? And who are you going to be? Write that down and start being that person today. Don't wait until you get there. Start being her today. Start talking like her or him. Start thinking like her. Start being that person. And you'll see that the things that you might have been paying attention to before become a lot less important. And then the third thing is what makes you unique. Because to be a leader, to be a good, solid leader in anything, I think, you have to stand apart. People have to want to be a part of you because you're different than the rest of the group. Because you have something that they want or that they don't have. Everyone has something that makes them unique, no matter what color you are. Everybody has something that makes them special, that makes them unique, that makes other people gravitate toward them. You need to identify that in yourself, and it means you got to be a little cocky. You really do. You got to be like, why am I awesome? And then write that down, because you are. Everybody is. You can sit there and be sheepish about it, but that's not going to get you anywhere. So, don't be sheepish about it. Be red for a day. Tell everybody why you're awesome. Okay, so I want you to think about those things as we go through the rest of this, and the rest of this is going to speak to probably all of the greens in the room, which the only thing I could think of when she was saying she was a green, I was like, well, they should really change the red color to green because it's money color, and that seems like I would rather have that. Red sounds really angry. Maybe we are. But so it's important to define your goals and to think big. And when you're doing that, it's important to think about numbers, and I think that you should think 3 years in advance from now and think about what numbers might be, and they don't have to be completely realistic. What title do you want? This is going to go into who you're going to be with LimeLight. In 3 years from now, do you want to be a senior director? Then write that down. In 3 years from now, do you want to change and be some sort of a network marketing professional? Then write that down. What do you want your PRV to be in 3 years? What kind of sales do you want every single month? What are you doing now? What do you want 3 years to look like from now? Write down some $10,000 a month. Why not? You're going to work for the next 3 years and have, 100 or more people that are doing the shine on? That thing that we do where people order it all the time? Yeah, that. You want all of those. You're going to have 100 a year. and what your TGRV will be. And that's getting you thinking about what kind of organization you're going to have. And when you can write down those numbers, like what kind of TGRV are you going to have? And this is all in a month's time. Are you going to be $1 million organization? Are you going to be a $2 million organization? And if you're thinking, the less commas that you're thinking with, the less successful you'll end up being, right? So think with commas, lots of commas. Everybody wants commas. Commas and dollar signs. So the next thing you want to think about is define your goals, think big, think 3 years out. It's going to help you focus as you're continuing to go forward with your own organization, and start to think about your personal marketing strategy. Your personal marketing strategy means how are you messaging to your audience. This is your potential recruits, these are your customers, these are the people that are listening to you. What kind of message are you portraying? And again, this is one of those situations where you need to sit down and think really hard about what you're doing and watch what you're doing and the messages that you're giving to people. Because if you're going to be a big leader in network marketing, you are going to be under a constant microscope. People are going to look at you and wonder what you're doing, want to know why you're doing it, and they're going to scrutinize the things that you do as well. And that's good. You want them to. You want people to wonder what you're doing, why you're doing it, and to scrutinize it, because it means you're doing something right. If people aren't questioning what you're doing, you're not doing it right. So you want to think about your target markets. Who do you want to talk to? What kind of people do you want to talk to? Are you wanting to talk to single moms to help them understand different incomes that they could have or additional incomes that they have? Are you wanting to talk to women personally, I want to talk to women in their 40s and 50s that are sick and tired of the way they look. That's who I want to talk to, because those women have money to spend. And I want to talk to people that have money to spend, because when they have money to spend, then I have money to spend. So, see how that works? So think about your target markets, and when you're putting yourself out there, it doesn't matter if you're walking down the street, if you're on Facebook, if you're talking anywhere. Those are the people that are going to start listening to you. And the one thing I have learned while being in Texas, all you have to do is say makeup in Texas. If you all are from Texas and you are not selling makeup in Texas, you are missing out. Holy cow, these women are serious. So you need to just walk around being like, makeup. Yeah, makeup. I have that. And they'll be like, what kind of makeup? Like literally, we had an event in a hotel, and the people were coming in, and I was like, so there'll be some people coming in for a makeup event, and two women were like, makeup? They didn't even have such a makeup on. It was 100 degrees. Who wants makeup on when it's 100 degrees besides me? Nobody. So think about who you're targeting, and when you're in Texas, the answer is everybody. Everybody. Holy cow. So I'm coming back here a lot, by the way. So the other things you need to think about, your platforms and your networks. Where are you giving your message? Where are you giving your message to? Where are you talking? Are you on Facebook? Are you in person? Are you the kind of person that can go into a gas station and talk to a random stranger about what they're doing with their makeup or their skincare? Are you the kind of, you think about every opportunity as a platform. It doesn't mean you have to use every opportunity. I am not, I don't know if this is a red personality thing or not, but I do not go up to a random stranger and be like, oh my God, I love your makeup. Because that would just I would have to sit and talk to her then, probably. I don't know, it would just make me very uncomfortable. So I definitely wait until people come to me, but in Texas they will. You guys need more LimeLight shirts if you're in Texas. Just say, I sell makeup. That's what the next shirts need to say. I sell makeup. Only sold in Texas. And then the next thing you need to talk about is your expertise and your message. Again, this is where you stand out as a unique person. What is your expertise? You may not be a makeup artist, and you may not be able to put a stitch of makeup on other people. And that does not matter. You have to stop looking at what everybody else is doing and saying, I can't do what she's doing. I can't do what Kate Johnson's doing with makeup. I can't do what Lindsay's doing with messaging to potential recruits. I can't do what they're doing. The more you think about what you can't do, the more you're not going to do it. You have to think about what you can do. And that's the only thing you need to focus on. You will notice on here, it does not say in any place, where are you missing something? Because you're not missing something. You have to go with what your strengths currently are and think about that. And that's how you start to develop your message and how you're talking to people, by what you already have. Because if you're constantly comparing yourself to somebody else, and you're constantly saying, I need what she has, you're just going to be stuck. So stop it. Don't do that anymore. Today. On this side here, we talk about 12-month goals, and this is where your goals really start to come into focus. In 12 months' time, where will you be? I will tell you where I was 12 months ago. 12 months ago, I was sitting in a room in New York City, in the back of the room, scrutinizing everything. When Michelle was up talking at our first summit, I scrutinized it all. I was still a little doubtful about what I was going to do with this company and who I was going to be, and I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it well, but I wasn't quite convinced yet. There were a few things that convinced me that weekend. I had good personal sales. I kind of always did, but I think that came from some other strengths that I had. But I had no team. I didn't have any people. I had a couple of people that signed up, but they sucked. And they were my sister. And the only reason she signed up was because I told her I wouldn't give her my discount because I'm a red. She can get her own discount. That is very true, all of that. And now that sister, by the way, sells $2,500 a month to all kinds of people. And she sucks at makeup. But she does it. She's awesome. So anyway, start to develop what your 12-month goals. Where do you want to be in a year? A year ago, I wasn't doing anything. I had no team. I have I want to say my team is about 130 now. I signed 7 this week. Not personally. I've spent time with my teams lately helping them to recruit. And we just keep growing, and we keep growing, and we keep growing. And the last 3 months with focusing on this stuff, I mean, you might not see me as active in other places, but it's because I'm just really laser focused, and it helps. So go down through this list of your 12-month goals. What title do you want in 12 months? Where can you get? And don't be shy about it. Where do you want to be in 12 months? What are you capable of achieving? What do you want your PRV to be? And you need to focus on your PRV. That's one thing I want to touch on, and I train my team on all the time. People get so concerned about recruiting. So concerned about recruiting and numbers and recruiting. But your PRV, your own sales, are going to make your recruiting game so much more effective. You learn your products, you learn how to talk about them, you learn all of the policies and procedures that way, and you make 35% commission on your own sales. You make like, I don't know, is it a quarter of that on your team sales? Psh, worry about yourself. You have to, when you are able to focus on your own sales, the rest of it starts to come because you get better at talking about it. You get better at understanding your products. You get better at understanding all the policies and procedures. You start to understand the compensation plan. And then you lead by example. And as your people are coming in, you will never have to worry about them being active because they see you selling $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, Kate Johnson, whatever. They see you doing it. And there's no reason why they can't do it. And that is leading by example. It's very helpful. Anyway, think about how many people you want on your team. When you're thinking about the number of people you want on your team, you need to know how many star director lines you're going to have, how many lead director lines, what's reasonable, write down what your dreams are for those things. When you start to write those things down, it starts to make sense. It helps you focus on them. Okay, I need 2 star directors. Start identifying who those people are as they start to emerge themselves and start to help them, start to focus on them. The other thing I like to tell people to focus on is the percentage of active beauty guides a month. Did you know in direct sales, the standard is 30% of anybody in direct sales is actively selling. So you want to make your goal higher than that, always. My goal is always about 40%. I want 40% of my beauty guides actively selling. I rarely hit that because, there's very little, but that's the goal that you strive to achieve. It's really cold in Okay.
It's your heart.
Yes, it is.
Good night.
What's that?
Good night.
Drop the mic. So on the next page, it goes into then further focusing your goals down to 6 months, 3 months, and 1 month. And I redo this strategy every single month. I go through, what am I going to achieve this month? What does 3 months from now look like? And what does 6 months from now look like? And then there's a bunch of questions under each of those to help you define how you're going to grow your team. Things that you might not even think of. Where are your personal sales going to come from? What strengths do you need on your team? That's a really big one, and that's where that color personality thing is going to come in. You got a bunch of reds on your team, you're going to need, you're going to have a lot of sales, but people are going to be a little angry, and people are going to be competing with each other, like elbowing each other on the way to the finish line. It's going to be so great. But think about where the holes are in your team. What other personalities do you need? What leadership skills do you need to develop? That's when you have to start taking a hard look at yourself. When I said be cocky earlier, this is where you start to think of, what do I need? What do I need to be a better leader? What am I listening to? What chirping am I listening to that I shouldn't be listening to? And how do I refocus? And how do I become a better leader? Where do you network? And this is where getting really creative is helpful. Where are you networking? What kinds of things are you doing to network? Where are you talking to people? And if you are only on Facebook, you need to stay on Facebook. Don't get off Facebook. There's a lot of money in Facebook. But there's also a lot of things going on around you where you can start to think about what kinds of reach can you get to other people and other networks. And who will be your guides and mentors. Focus on people that can help you achieve these goals. Listen to people that are doing the things that you want to do. Sometimes identifying with your color personality and finding a really strong person that's doing the same things that has the same kind of personality, using them to help you by watching what they're doing, asking them questions, things like that. That can be very, very helpful. Identify how you find new hostesses, what kinds of tools that you need to grow. And that's really important too. What is your team needing? Do you need resources? Do you need some sort of spreadsheet to track things? Will that make things better for you? Do you need emails or a form letter for recruiting to help your team recruit? What do you need? What kinds of tools do you need? And what will you delegate to your leaders? Because I can tell you as a red, I think I can do everything, and I'm right all the time, and I have the best way. However, that will burn you out. So you have to think about what you can delegate to other people. What can you give to other people? Find their strengths and let them help you to achieve your goals. And when you do that, then you start to build new leaders. And you start to build people like you that are then going to take that and teach their teams. It's all about continuously building up other people and helping them to achieve things. How do you share LimeLight authentically? And how will you communicate with your team? Good communication is key. Key. If that's Facebook or email or telephone conversations or a combination thereof, figure out how you best communicate and develop a system for that. And then the other, under the 1 month strategy, is a bunch of reasons or a bunch of ideas for you to find parties, events, follow-up plans, how to target. Think about targeting your recruiting message, and this is going straight to that color, to the color personalities. Look at those personalities and understand how you target those messages to each person that you're talking to. Because if you can master that, think of how much time you'll save. Whew. Like you have a blue personality and you're talking numbers with her all day long. You're going to just be talking to yourself all day long. She's like, where's the margaritas at? Where's Mary Kay at? There she is. Finding new resources and training and seeking new networking opportunities. Those are just things that I recommend that you do as a good leader all of the time. And it's going to help you to not only share that with your team and help them to be better leaders, but it's going to help you to think outside the box. Now, I screwed something up on this page. It says name across there. That's a lie. It should say core values. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from your core values, and you're going to plug them into this people analyzer. And this is a really cool tool. And when I did this at that training, it made everything click for me with the people that I was working with. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm focusing on the wrong things for them. I wish I knew the color personality thing then, because it would have been a little bit easier. Again, that was noise to me when Chelsea Kenyon trains on it a lot, and she talks about, oh, you're this color, you're that color. That was noise to me. I was like, oh, that's a bunch of useless color crap information. I don't know what that means. And yeah, I didn't need all that. And when we were planning this training, she's telling me about this, and then I had the file printed. This is the only reason I read it. I had the file printed for her because my husband owns a printing company. So I had the file printed for her, and I happened to look over it, and something caught my eye, and then I read the whole thing, and I was like, oh wow, that is really good. Huh, how about that? Somebody knew something I didn't. Weird. That never happens. I don't recommend that you do this in this room, because you need to do it when you have some time to think. But what you're going to do is you're going to write down some of the key players in your organization, or the people that you want to have in your organization. Write their names down. Then you're going to look at each one of those core values that you wrote down and give them a plus or a minus, or like a plus minus if you're wishy-washy, which Reds also don't like at all. But if you're not sure what they are. So what you're going to do is you're going to analyze each person on those core values. For example, you're going to write down Sally, and the first core value might be integrity. Does Sally have integrity? Plus or minus, yes or no? Does Sally have professionalism? Plus or minus, yes or no? And go all the way through all of your core values. Then here's the other thing, and if you're in my training group, you hear me bark on this quite a bit. There's 3 things that people need in order to be successful in this business. They have to want it, they have to really want it, they have to get it, they have to understand it, and they have to have the capacity to make it happen. And if you're a Red, you don't think everybody has the capacity to make it happen at all, and you have to get that out of your head. You have to analyze people on these 3 things. Some people really, really want it, but they don't get it. They don't get how they're going to get there, and maybe they're completely intelligent, but they're missing something. When you analyze people on all of those core values, and whether they get it, want it, and have the capacity to get it, you're going to see them emerge, a profile emerge. And it doesn't tell you to stop working with people. What it tells you is what to focus on with those people. So when Sally gets it and wants it, but she doesn't have the capacity to make it happen, how do you give her the capacity to make it happen? How do you fill that in for her? How do you help her get the tools that she's going to need? Because you don't have to spend time with her on getting it. She gets it. You don't have to spend time with her on her wanting to make it happen, because she already does. But she's missing something. She's missing tools, she's missing experience. You know, a lot of people that are young may not understand some of those things in business. And so it's up to you to help fill those in. And same with all of those other core values. You know, maybe Sally doesn't have the best integrity. How do you help her understand that integrity is important? You can't give somebody integrity, but you can help them understand how important it is. And people, I will tell you, the one thing I've learned in network marketing, people have the capacity to change. And that is something you could not have told me 1 year ago. People have the capacity to change, and they have the capacity to grow. And as a good leader, it's up to you to help them see where they're missing some things, and to help them get that. So sit down and think about those things. And when I did this, I realized that I was spending far too much time on some of my people that they had it already. They had it. I needed to let them go. Not go away, but like, I needed to let them go and do their own business and not have me telling them what to do all the time, because that's kind of what I was doing. Surprise. But then I also realized that I was missing the boat on some of my coaching with people. You know, I was missing what they needed from me. So anyway, I hope you'll take some time and do this, and I hope you'll understand that this company and what you have in front of you, this opportunity to be somebody in this business, is really great for everybody. It's really there. And when you can focus, at the end of the day, when the chirping's happening over here, you're able to get rid of it. You're like, okay, that will be there tomorrow. And one thing I learned from Michelle recently was, when your Facebook notifications are going off, it'll still be there. later. You don't have to get to it right now, but the chirping starts to go away. The drama, there's some drama going on over here. You learn to, you just don't care about it anymore because you're focused. You're like that guy on the horse with the arrow that's shooting it at a thing. For whatever reason, guys on horses do that. I need to figure that out. But you'll learn to laser focus, and it was honestly, I've talked about it since it happened. It was life-changing for me in many ways. I also apply it to my marriage, my poor husband, because I have learned that I've lost focus there too. So it applies to so many different things, whatever you're doing in your life. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to be done because everybody knows I babble. Thank you.